Hello all, I'm Marin. Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my 2025 series recap. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off this video by sharing some overall series stats with you. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get into specifics regarding what series I finished, caught up on, DNF'd, etc. So all of that will come in like the second part of this video, but let's just talk some basic series stats right now. So at the time of filming this, I have read a total of 125 books in 2025. I still have some time and I will be reading some other books before the end of the year, but that's kind of where we stand in terms of my total as of right now. Of those 125 books, 54 of them have been series books. So now let me go ahead and break down how that works out. So I completed 9 series in 2025 in their entirety. I caught up on 5 series in 2025. I decided to DNF 8 series in 2025, and I started 9 series in 2025. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a graphic right now on the screen for you to take a look at. These are the series that I did complete in 2025. The ones with the green check marks are series that I actually read completely in 2025. So I read from book 1 all the way through whatever the final book in that series was. So that's what those green check marks indicate. I decided in 2025 to do a couple of duology vlogs, so I will link those down in the description if you'd like to go back and watch them. Those include the King of Scars duology by Leigh Bardugo, the Letters of Enchantment duology by Rebecca Ross, and then a duology that is now actually a trilogy was another one that I filmed. That is the Villains series by V.E. Schwab, but a third book is coming out in that in 2026, so I thought I was caught up on that, only to find out it's actually a trilogy, not a duology, but I'll link that one down below too if you'd like to go back and watch any of those duology vlogs. Moving on to the 5 series that I caught up on, you are again looking at the graphic right now. So I did catch up on the Finley Donovan series by Elle Casimano, the Sisters of Salt series by Erin A. Craig, the Wayward Children series by Shauna Maguire, the Villains series by V.E. Schwab, and then Jessie Q. Satanto announced that she will actually be writing 2 more books in the Vera Wong series as well. So I am caught up on the Vera Wong series because I did read book 2 in 2025. Now let's talk about the series that I decided to DNF in 2025. Some of these were books that I read in the year of 2025, but some of them were on my list to continue reading from last year, and I have since decided I'm no longer interested in doing that. So the first one we have is the Heartstrings series by B.K. Borison. The first book in that was First Time Caller. I actually DNF'd that book, so obviously will not be continuing the series. Then we have the Heist Society series by Allie Carter. This is a series that she never completed, so I've decided I'm not going to read what's been written in that, knowing that there is no conclusive ending. I've gone ahead and just taken it off of my series TBR. Next is a book that I did read in 2025, which is Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson. I did not like the first book. I gave it 2 stars, and honestly that was probably being generous because I really just did not have a good time with the book at all. So I've obviously decided not to continue the series. Then we have the Mara Dyer trilogy by Michelle Hodkin. I reread the first book, The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer, and just really wasn't vibing with the writing, so I've decided not to continue that series either. The next one on the list is the Shades of London series by Maureen Johnson. I read The Name of the Star last year and did really enjoy it, but this is another series that has never been completed, so I've just decided to take it off of my TBR. Next is the Indian Lake trilogy by Stephen Graham Jones. I read My Heart is a Chainsaw a couple of years ago as part of the Literally Dead book club and didn't love it, and the more I've thought about it, the less and less interested I am in actually finishing the series, so I did take that off of my series TBR. Then we have the Assistant to the Villain series by Hannah Nicole Mayer. I read the first one, didn't love it, gave it 2 stars, but was curious enough to continue with the series when I thought that it was either going to be a duology or a trilogy. I've since found out she is releasing a 4th book in 2026, and I have heard rumblings that there might even be a 5th, and at this point I am not interested enough in the story to read that many more books, so I am taking this one off of my TBR. Then we have another book that I did try to read in 2025, which is The Sanatorium by Sarah Pierce. I actually DNF'd this book, so obviously will be DNFing the series as well. So here is a look at that graphic so you can see all of them in one place, but that works out to 8 series that I have decided to DNF in 2025. And of course, we cannot get through a year, it seems, without starting series as well. And I actually started 9 of them in 2025. So let's talk about those because I am adding them to my series TBR. So the first one was Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. I do want to read books 2 and 3 because I really enjoyed Legends and Lattes. I gave it 5 stars. Then we have one that I read just recently, which is Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. This is the first book in her Ghosted series. It's a duology. There is going to be a companion book released in 2026, and I do want to give it a read. Next, we have Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. I want to go ahead and finish the series if and when she ever releases the 4th book. I do own the other 2 that are released so far, so hopefully can get to those at some point in 2026, and then hope that she releases that 4th book. I know it's been years and years in the making, so we will see how long it takes before it actually comes out. Then I have The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. I really liked this one. This series is made up of interconnected standalones, I believe. I own the second one, which is The Enchanted Greenhouse, and there is a 3rd one coming out in 2026, so hopefully I can get caught up on that one then. I don't know if she's planning on releasing any more than that, but hopefully I can get caught up regardless. Then we have a duology, which is the Barry's Bay duology by Carly Fortune. I read Every Summer After and really enjoyed it, surprisingly, so I'm looking forward to reading the sequel. Next is Immortal Consequences by Ivy Marie. This is a duology that should be completed in 2026. The next book is The Games Gods Play by Abigail Owen. This is the first book in her Crucible series. I do own book 2 and want to go ahead and finish this series out. Then I read Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. I do own all the rest of the books in this series and do want to give them a read, obviously, or I wouldn't have picked them up. The first one wasn't spectacular, but I did like that it was kind of low stakes romance, and I need that every once in a while in my reading. And finally, I read Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson, and I'm looking forward to reading the rest of this series. He has a new one coming out in 2026, so hopefully I can get all the way caught up this coming year. And again, here's a look at that list in its entirety in graphic form. All right, now let's talk specifically about series that I still need to read. So these are all of the series that are currently on my series TBR. I have broken them down into 3 groups. So we have duologies, trilogies, and then sagas. So these are series that have 4 or more books. There are quite a few series on this list, so I'm not going to talk in depth about any of them. I'm just going to kind of roll on through. So here we go. Starting off with duologies, I need to read Thief of Night by Holly Black to complete the Charlatan duology. I will need to read the sequel to Good Spirits by B.K. Borison, which will complete the Ghosted duology. I need to read One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune to complete the Barry's Bay duology. I will need to read Dark Corners by Megan Golden, which will complete the Rachel Crawl duology. Now, side note, I don't know for sure that this is only going to be a duology, but as of right now, only 2 books have been announced or released, so I'm calling it a duology right now. Then I will need to read Iona by Allison Goodman to complete the Eon duology. And finally, I will need to read Ruinous Ends, which is the sequel to Immortal Consequences by Ivy Marie, which will complete the Souls of Blackwood Academy duology. All right, now let's go ahead and talk about the trilogies that I need to finish. So I need to read Bookshops and Bone Dust, as well as the new one by Travis Baldree to finish off Legends and Lattes. I need to read The Voyage Home to finish off The Women of Troy by Pat Barker. I need to read book 2 and then the upcoming book 3 to finish off The Grandest Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I will need to read books 2 and 3 to finish off the Curse Workers trilogy by Holly Black. Now this next series, I don't know how many are actually going to be in the series. Right now there's just 3 that are planned as far as I know, so I'm calling it a trilogy. That is the Sisters of Salt trilogy by Erin A. Craig. Book 3 does not have a title or a release date, so I don't know when that's coming out, but it is listed on Goodreads and she has mentioned it, so I've gone ahead and put it on this list. I will also need to read books 2 and 3 in the Spell Shop series by Sarah Beth Durst. Then we have technically book 0 and book 2 in the We Were Liars series by E. Lockhart. The most recent one came out like a month or so ago, but I will need to read We Were Liars first before I read the rest of those. I do own them, just haven't read them. Next is the Metamorphoses trilogy by Sarah McCarry. I need to read book 3, which is called About a Girl. Then we have the Strands series by Jane Nickerson. I have read Strands of Bronze and Gold, but will need to read books 2 and 3. We have the Crucible trilogy by Abigail Owen. I've already mentioned I own book 2, and book 3 comes out in 2026, so I will need to read books 2 and 3. Next up is the Percy Jackson Senior Year trilogy that Rick Riordan is releasing. However, the last one in this series has not been announced in terms of a title or release date yet. I don't know if it's coming out in 2026 or not. If it does, I will read it when it comes out because these are very quick, easy reads, and I'm looking forward to finishing this one off. But if it doesn't come out this year, it will have to carry over into the next year, obviously, because I need to wait for him to actually write and release the book. And the last trilogy on this list is the Villains trilogy by V.E. Schwab. This is the one that I mentioned was initially a duology, so I read it as a duology in a vlog, only to find out that it is now a trilogy, and the third one will come out in 2026. All right, now let's go ahead and talk about the sagas that I need to finish. And again, these are books that have 4 or more books in the series. So starting off, we have The Diviners by Libba Bray. I have read book 1, but will need to reread it in order to complete the series. Then this is a series that I just mentioned. This is the Kindred's Curse saga by Penn Cole. I have read book 1, need to read book 2 and 3, and then 4 whenever it's released. The Finley Donovan series by Elle Casamano. She is releasing book 6 in 2026, and I will read it and be caught up. That is a series that I look forward to the new releases from, so I will have no trouble staying up to date on that one. Next is the Magnolia Parks series by Jessa Hastings. I have the first 5 books. I know she is supposed to be releasing 2 more after these, and I will decide at that point if I'm going to read them or not, considering her behavior of late and some things that have come out about her. I'm not sure how much I want to support this author, so we'll kind of see what happens. Then we have the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series by Holly Jackson. I have read book 1, but want to go ahead and finish that series. Next is the Nancy Drew series by Carolyn Keene. I am trying to read all of the original 56 books. I have read through number 46 so far and want to go ahead and finish this series off next year if I can. The next one is the Wayward Children series by Shauna McGuire. I am all the way caught up on this, ready for the newest release, which comes out in January. I do not know how many books she is going to release in this series, but number 11 is coming out in 2026, so I will just keep reading as many as she releases. Then we have the Heartstopper series by Alice Oseman. The final installment is supposed to be released in 2026, so I will be finishing that one off in the upcoming year. Then there is the Rebel Blue Ranch series by Lila Sage. I have read book 1. I need to read 2, 3, and 4 to finish off the series. Next up is the Bone Season series by Samantha Shannon. She has said that she is planning on releasing 7 books total in the series. She has released through book 5, but she is bouncing between this one and the next series on this list, so I'm not sure when exactly it's going to be completed, but I will be reading the whole series when she finally finishes it. And that other series, of course, is the Priory of the Orange Tree series, which I have read this installment of. I still need to read A Day of Fallen Night, and then she released a shorter novel in this same universe this year called Among the Burning Flowers, so I will need to read those. I'm putting this under saga because she has mentioned wanting to write other books in this series as far as I know, so I'm thinking there's going to be more than 4, so that's why it's on this list rather than like the trilogy list. Then we have a middle grade series, which is the Murder Most Unladylike series by Robin Stevens. I have read the first one. There are 10 books in the series, and I want to read all of them because this one was a lot of fun. Next up, we have the Ernest Cunningham series. I've already mentioned that I need to read book 2, and then the one that was released as like a Christmas release, and then the upcoming one that is releasing in 2026. Again, we have the Vera Wong series by Jessie Q. Satanto. She's said that there's going to be 4 books total, so I want to read all 4 of them. And finally, we have the Codename Verity series by Elizabeth Wine. This one is another interconnected standalone series. They're all set during World War II. I have only read Codename Verity, but I want to read the other 3 in the series as well. All right, and here's a look at those books in graphic form again. Now let's go ahead and roll into the final part of this, which are the series that I still want to start, either because I own book one or because I've just heard good things about them and want to give them a read. So the first one on this list is the Naturals series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I own a box set of this series, so obviously would like to get it read. Then we have the Emily Wilde books by Heather Fawcett. I own all three and need to read them. We have the Shepherd's King duology by Rachel Gillig, which starts with One Dark Window. I own both books, so need to get them read. We have another book by Rachel Gillig, The Night and the Moth, came out in 2025, and I did not get a chance to read it, but I know that this is the start of a series, possibly a duology. I don't actually know, but I do want to read the first one and at least decide at that point if I want to continue it. Then I have the Moonfall series by Sarah A. Parker. The first one is When the Moon Hatched, but I know she has the second one coming out later this year, so I want to give this first one a read to see if I want to pick the second one up. And then we have two series that I don't own any of the books from. The first one is the Veronica Speedwell series by Deanna Raybourn. I know that a lot of people really love this series and it sounds right up my alley, so I do want to check the first book out to see if I want to continue and read through the remainder of the series. I think she has a new release coming out in 2026 in this series, so I won't be able to get caught up before that happens, but at least I can maybe get a start on it. And then the final one on this list is the Singing Hills series by Nhi Vo. These are a series of novellas that I know Kayla at Books and Lala has really enjoyed and I've always been curious about, so I've gone ahead and put the first one on this list as well. And then here is a look at that in graphic format as I've been doing throughout this video. All right, now let's go ahead and talk about totals, because obviously my goal with series is to read down the number of series that are on this series TBR and eventually get down to 0, which I don't even think is possible if we're being honest, because series keep getting released and they sound interesting and we pick them up. But I would at least like to make a dent in this list and get more of them off than I've added. So what I did is I've compiled the amount of series that have been on my series TBR over the course of the last few years to put in this graphic that you're looking at on the screen. And you can see that I'm actually ending 2025 with one more series on the list than I had at the start of 2025. Now the math isn't mathing here, if I'm being honest. So I think I may have goofed when I did last year's video. I'll link that up above if you want to go back and watch it, because I must have left something off, because I did finish and DNF more series than I added. So I should have less series, but for some reason I don't. So I don't know what I was doing with the math. It's not mathing, as I said. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look. You can see that in 2021, I started the year with 51 series on my TBR. That dropped down in 2022 to 48 series on my TBR. In 2023, I got it down to 33 series on my TBR, which was the same amount that I had for 2024. And then now in 2025, I am ending the year with 34 series on my TBR, which you just saw a rundown of because I just listed all 34 of them. My goal for 2026 is going to be to obviously finish as many series as I can, but I would love to get my number of unfinished series down to 25 or less in 2026. I don't know if it's going to be possible because, again, I'm always starting new series, but I'm going to give it my best shot. I'm actually going to be doing a vlog series revolving around series books, so I'm hoping that that will help me tackle some of these books, particularly ones that have been on my TBR for a while. I have also put a few series finales onto my 2026 TBR, which will be an upcoming video. So hopefully when I do this video again at the end of 2026, I will be able to say that I have it down to 25 or less, but only time will tell. So that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel if you would like to see more from me. If you made it to the end of this video and would like to leave an emoji to show you were here, you can leave a book stack emoji in honor of the 34 series that I am still trying to finish. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.